Ladies and gentlemen, Raila Odinga finally has just come out to give his response towards the dialogue report that was given to them after a kind of exercise that was in between the Kenya Kwanza government and the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition. When I was just listening to Raila Amolo Odinga, I've summarized in simplest form before you watch the video of Raila Odinga on how Raila Odinga has just come out to take the dialogue report in this way. Raila Odinga is coming out to say, number one, to accept and to agree with the report. But now is coming out with a new move. And this new move is in two categorical. As he is claiming that all other discussions are okay, but when it comes to the high cost of living is a major problem when it comes to this dialogue report. So Raila Odinga is coming out to say that when it comes to the high cost of living, he's going to consult the people. That is number one. He's going to consult the people. And the people are going to give him report. And this report is going to be summarized to ensure what is their next move after consulting them. Number two, Raila Odinga is coming out to suggest a referendum. And a referendum relies with two issues. When it comes to the office of the opposition leader and when it comes to the office of the prime cabinet. And this is because Raila Odinga is saying that this is going to avoid a kind of mischief of people going to court to block the decision of creating the opposition office and the prime cabinet minister office. And this is something that they experienced in the last BBI move. Again, Raila Odinga is coming out to say that they are going to come out and to decide whether the presidency is going to be parliamentary, is going to be hybrid, or it is going to be system. And that is the move that Raila Odinga is having. Furthermore, Raila Odinga is coming out to say that as they are so disappointed with the high cost of living discussion in the dialogue report, they're coming out to say that now this issue of high cost of living is going to rely with the consultation they're going to have to the people. And the people are the one to decide whether what are their suggestions. And because William Ruto and his team, during the dialogue discussion, they came out to say that the high cost of living was not to be discussed in that meeting. The reason behind it was because this high cost of living is in their manifesto and it is their mandate to ensure that the cost of living is going to be lowered. Another thing that Raila Odinga is coming out to agree with is saying that when it comes to the IEBC, a service audit is okay because now the report suggests that they are going to audit the report. And again, when it comes to the reconstitution of the IEBC commissioners, then we are having a two-third gender rule, which Raila Odinga again is coming out to accept that when it comes to the suggestion and the report. And the office of the opposition and the office of the prime cabinet minister, where they are going to do it in a referendum way. Not now them coming out to suggest that office, so that it will be like they are benefiting more than the people. So it is the people who decide whether we should have the office of the opposition or we should have the office of the prime cabinet minister. Then before you watch the video, Raila Odinga is coming out to say that the report is imperfect and it is unfinished. So no one should come out to say that despite of addressing the electoral injustices, when it comes to, of course, the increased presidential petition from 14 days to 21 days, and agreed on multipartyism and also the devolved government system where we are now going to have the kind of something called the ward fund, where the MCS are going to control that fund. So this is how Raila Amolo Odinga came out saying.
By Azimio coalition on NADCO report, after 3 months of difficulty on the need and the means to reduce the cost of living. This is why we have described the document the committee presented as imperfect and unfinished. It was not for lack of trying on our part that the committee was unable to agree on the issue of cost of living. Kenyans will recall that at the beginning of the talks, the Kenya Kwanza administration was adamant that cost of living would never be taken to the discussion table, let alone being discussed. The Kenya Kwanza had insisted that the only issues it was ready to discuss were the reconstitution of the IEBC, implementation of the 2/3 gender rule, entrenchment of constituency development fund, establishment and entrenchment of the office of the leader of the opposition, and the embedment of the office of Prime Cabinet Secretary. Through persistence and insistence, we forced cost of living onto the table. We had hoped that as the talks progressed, when life got harder for Kenyans, Kenya Kwanza leaders could have the empathy, soften their hearts, and agree to lessen the burden their policies had imposed on Kenyans. Our delegation pushed for the complete overhaul of the Finance Act 2023, which had come with harsh taxation measures and made and continue to make life unbearable to an overwhelming majority of Kenyans. At no expense to the government, we deployed our team of economists to recommend to the administration measures which, if adopted, would immediately bring the cost of living down. We asked the government to reduce travel budgets by 50%. We also called on the government to reduce the daily subsistence allowances for state and public officers by 30%. We further asked the government to reduce the road maintenance levy and the anti-adulteration levy by 5 shillings and 3 shillings per litre, respectively. Our team further asked the government to reduce VAT on fuel from 16% to 8%. We called on the government to scrap the housing levy, or at least make it voluntary. Unfortunately, Kenya Kwanza would not budge. Apparently, as the regime's economic policies hardened life for Kenyans, so did the regime harden its heart. We realized that without the goodwill of the top echelons of the Kenya Kwanza leadership, cost of living was never going to be addressed. They told our team that the cost of living was a government issue, that they have a manifesto and the mandate of the people of Kenya to implement it. This is the hustlers, the Juakali, the Mamamboga, and the Boda Boda. Our team realized that the whole issue of cost of living is extremely sensitive in the Kenya Kwanza circles because it is a gravy train on which many corrupt interests have converged. Cost of living cannot come down because the key people in the government are eating from it. That is why cabinet secretaries and other Kenya Kwanza shareholders recently fought over oil in the high seas. We got to understand that the housing levy, which even the courts have now found to be unconstitutional, cannot be scrapped because it is a gravy train. It is from this levy that the Kenya Kwanza hopes to build a campaign war chest for the next election. They forget that they may not get there. We realize that Kenya Kwanza cannot touch cost of living because it anchors the massive corruption that has returned to the country. We made it clear that we completely disagree with the government on the matter of cost of living. We made it clear that we will support the document ensuing from the talks, but we will treat the hard line on the cost of living at the beginning of another phase of this struggle. We will seek other ways to press the government to listen to the cries of the people and bring down the cost of living. The other ways will include, but will not be limited to, consultations with the people. At all times, we will retain the right to call on the people to take steps that we deem necessary to force the government to lower the cost of living. We also support the document with the proviso that certain aspects must be approved by the people by way of a referendum. To create the office of the leader of opposition or to formalize the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, the people of Kenya have to have their say by way of a referendum. Besides, it is a constitutional requirement that such significant restructuring of government must go through a referendum to avoid the mischief that may be played by some people going to court. It is also our stand that this country cannot continue moving forward by being undecided. We have to agree whether we want a parliamentary, presidential system or a hybrid system. Thank you.
I think you've watched the video. And the video is very clear towards the take of Raila Amolo Odinga and his team, where Kalonzo Musyoka was also present there. I've seen some people asking him, or journalists asking him, where is Martha Wangari Karua? Martha Karua is in Somalia. When it comes to Eugene Wamalwa, who was like, he came out saying that he was not going to pen his signature when it comes to the dialogue report because of high cost of living. And several individuals, Raila Odinga has reported that these people are together and nothing bad is there. But again, as if something not coming out true, when you look at even some individuals that came out raising their eyebrows about Martha Wangari Karua, Eugene Wamalwa, Jeremiah Kioni, and different individuals, as also we saw a kind of wrangles where Uhuru Kenyatta was also not agreeing with the kind of reports that was going to come from this dialogue team. So as a Zimio, they're just trying to collect themselves, understand what is their next move. But literally, when you look at even whatever they are doing, at least they have come out to respond towards their beliefs and what they support and what they don't support. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Drop your opinion at the comment section below. Otherwise, I want to appreciate you so much because of your support. Please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing this video.